What's going on, guys? So I figured I'd start a new build log. I know I said I was going to do the custom thing first and foremost, but after seeing the Starscream build that Matthew Deluxe Baldwin just got back after being painted, I thought I might blow through my Starscream kit just really quick because I know these Flame Toys kits don't really take that long. And if nothing else, I can't really paint today as it is really crappy and rainy and cold, so I'm not going to be able to paint for a little bit. But what I can do is kind of pre-build the different sections and stuff like that of the kit. And one thing I'm doing right now is talking through the colors I want to use because I have a problem with this Starscream. I'll show that real quick here. Alright, so these are the colors I'm looking at using. So instead of the crappy red that's on there, I've got this Italian red left over from my custom Jinx. I've got the purple that I'm just going to use to do the Decepticon emblems and maybe a couple little spots here and there. I've got a little bit of German gray. Actually, I'm sorry, I got a lot bit of German gray here. I've got some gunship gray, just a little bit of that. It's one of my favoriteest spray can dark grays ever. But then I have some light gray primer, and then I've got pure white, also left over from the custom Jinx. But what I'm looking at here, so these are the bare frame parts that you'll see, like on the bottom of the feet, the joints and stuff like that. Considering doing all of these in German gray, so that make them a little bit darker with that. So it'd be a little darker, but German gray is a nice color for that kind of stuff. But one thing I was looking at for the gunship gray is all of these bits. So like the head pieces here, it's focusing on the can behind me there, or the bag. So you've got the head pieces, you've got the little turbine vents, you've got the pauldron vents, stuff like that. Those are the sides of the head. I wouldn't have to do all the joints and stuff like that, just the things that'll be exposed. Like, see, this is the hips. I probably wouldn't need to paint that, but the head for sure. I was thinking about doing that with the gunship gray because it is a really nice, flat, dark gray. I love that color. I was thinking about going with gunmetal, but I don't have nearly as much. So my gunmetal can is fairly empty. Not that that would take much, but gunship gray is probably nearly as empty, but for only so few things, I can probably do it in one pass, especially with no primer. The red, it's a god-awful red. It almost looks orange on camera, especially considering that nice, really bright red there. And the light, it's kind of photoreactive, so the light that's hitting it is making it look like that. I'm going to paint that nice, beautiful Italian red. Be pretty easy, though this part right here is the secondary part of the chest, like middle of the torso, so those vents are all going to have to get painted with the gunship as well to make sure it matches the vents for the chest, so that'll take some masking. I don't want to use up all my paint. These things over here, these are kind of the side skirts. The inside of that will probably also need to get hit with that gunship, which is pretty easy to mask off to some degree, so I'll figure that part out. But the hard part here is what to do with the main chunks of the body. It comes in this really crap gray, and all of the images on the box show him as silver. And I know that Starscream is supposed to be kind of an off-white or a light grayish color, which is why I have that primer, if I decide to go with that, because you can definitely use primer as a paint, and being that the base color is not very far off, if I go with that, it'll probably be pretty good, and it'll give it a flat or matte finish. But one thing I still have plenty of is silver leaf from the previous builds. Now, I love the silver color, but one thing I was thinking to kind of keep continuity with the builds I've already done, do all of that light gray and silver. And once again, the box shows him painted silver, but it comes with a nice smooth edge, not super metallic-y stuff like that. But I could also hit it with a flat coat or a semi-gloss coat to take away some of the shine, or maybe add a little bit, either way. But that would keep a little bit of continuity with the colors I do have. But one problem that there definitely is this blue. There's nothing I can do to replicate this blue or cover it. Plus, it's actually molded in this super glossy finish, which is one thing you can definitely do with ABS, which is what all of this is. But this right here is the knee cover. This spot right here is the only part that's supposed to remain blue. The rest of it is supposed to be the main body color. So whether I paint it the primer color, whether I paint it the silver color, that's got to get masked off right here, at least that raised part, at least double twice. So I got to figure out which way I'm going to go with it. I could always definitely prime everything. That's not a problem. I got, you should prime your things. I have been going fairly cheap with the way I've been doing these things and not priming them at all. The other things for the wings back here. So the wings, I love the molded Decepticon emblem there. The stripes that are, known for the Seekers. So this whole big chunk right here is supposed to be red. The next one down is supposed to be white. And then, of course, the Decepticon emblem will get painted that lovely purple that the axe was for Nemesis. So that's pretty much that. And then just little detail work on the guns and stuff like that here would need to be painted gray, or at least by hand. Oh yeah, and then the stripes here on the wings, the little winglets on the ankles, also need to get painted red. So that's going to take off a lot of masking, which you guys know I'm pretty decent at. I do really wish I had some 6mm though. One thing I love, things got 2 faceplates because it's on this runner. So I'm going to do one faceplate in white to give one kind of color, and then I'm going to do the other faceplate in the same color that everything else is. And one thing that's neat, once again, I didn't do an unboxing for this. They actually pre-painted his eyes red with a nice clear. And no, it's not injected because nothing around that is red, so that is just straight up. Unless they injected it separately from behind and cut it off, which maybe that's what they did. I don't know. But odds are I'll paint that the same way I did the other ones with some Gundam marker to make them stand out. Because even with some cool light piping, it's still not going to stand out against the head. Just going to look dark and dead. As for the cockpit here, it looks nice in the crystal. But against the gray that's made of the cockpit like that, that's not going to look good. So odds are I'm going to paint that gold. Which I have plenty of gold, I think. Gotta look in the box. Yeah, I've still got some regular gold, 2 different ways, so I can definitely pull that off. But that's where I'm at right now, just trying to figure out what I'm going to do, paint-wise. But color-wise, I think I've got it down. What I'm going to do is break things down into sections that all need to be painted, so things that are all going to be the same color and joined together, like here, the neck joint and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and assemble all that because some of it's just going to get covered up, so it doesn't really matter if it's fully exposed for paint. So that's fine. Things like the cockpit, I'm going to put that together the way it's supposed to be. The leg armor, all that stuff. And then there'll be a lot of things that I'm going to have to hand paint. Like, is it this runner? No, this runner. Okay, so you've got these leg vents right here. Those are all going to have to be painted gray, or dark gray. So all things I can do later on. So I'm going to figure this part out. It is raining super hard now. It's supposed to be really bad in a couple days, flash flood warnings, stuff like that. So I'm going to get to work, probably put on some Bert Kreischer, just like before. Just basically going to keep myself busy for the time being and get the first build of 2019 rolling. Alright guys, a little while later. So I've got like the lower torso part here put together. It's so simple, there's no reason to really break it up. So that way it's just going to get painted as is. Same thing with the cockpit section. It can just totally get painted as it is. And the upper kind of torso neck area where the head usually goes. I'm just going to paint this whole thing as it is. No reason. It's layered, so no real reason to break it up because the stuff underneath you're not going to see. So may as well just paint it like so. I've got the entire crotch assembly. I don't know if I'm going to bother painting it because you're not really going to see much of it. It's kind of covered up pretty well. And, I mean, the difference between this and, like, German gray, it's not going to be a huge difference. You're not really going to see it. And as you can see, I've got a lot of the red stuff either assembled, like the middle torso here. I've got that assembled with its joints. That's going to just get painted red. All the red armor bits are all cut off and stuff like that. And very similarly to the way I've done the last two. It's going to be hard to see because it's clear. Hold on. Let me set it here where I can see a difference. You can see I've hit that with a little bit of red Gundam marker. And I'm going to do just like I did with Nemesis. Hold on, I got to focus here. I'm going to do just like I did with Nemesis and add a little bit of orange, maybe a little bit of yellow to the eyeballs, with the same technique I used before, with using a little bit of paint and a thumbtack like as a super sharp brush. So that's what I'm going to do for that. I'm going to work on the armor plates here in a little bit. I'm kind of going through the instructions, just finding certain things that I can dry assemble and things like that. So like the kind of upright vent section here, I've assembled all the red parts because they'll all be together, but the gray part that goes into it will be painted separately, you know, these guys right here. And then I'm going to work on the wings. That's pretty easy, no big deal there. Then the little chunks that make up the wings, this kind of stuff, will all have to be rigged and painted up separately. Like what I'll probably do, since that is all kind of one assembly, I'll just see they have you assemble it here, like put on the polycap and then assemble both ends of it. To me, it almost makes sense just to go ahead and assemble it on the polycap and then insert it later. Though part of me is scared that that's going to be one of the things that splits, kind of like the hip joints on Prime did. So, I don't know. And then the legs are fairly well layered and complicated, if I'm honest. So I'm going to do what I can to dry assemble this. So like the ankle joint, it really doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and assemble the legs, or the main chunk of the legs, that way it gets painted evenly. That's one thing I'm doing. Whenever it comes down to parts that are going to combine later, like the shoulder parts or the leg parts, I assemble them together, not completely, but you know, almost about 85% or so, except for what needs to be painted differently. And I paint them at the same time together. That way you have an even paint, because on Prime I didn't do that. I had all the parts separate, and then a couple pieces were a little bit different, and I weathered it to make up the difference, so to speak. And then you've got the blue parts, which I'm only going to need to cut out these, like I said before, the knee armor, stuff like that. And then of course you have the obligatory polycaps that I'm using, whatever I have to. I'm going to assemble all of the main joints, since they can be painted en masse, more or less. Same thing with the bottom of the feet, things like that. Whatever I can assemble fairly easily, I'm just going to do that. And these, like I said, will all be German gray. And then the head, which was what I was about to dry assemble, just because I can do it. The thing here, it's probably going to be all that nice dark gunship gray. Like I said, that way it's got no real sheen to it. I got no focus here. But that's what I've been working on for a little while. But back to work. And it has really, really been raining. I mean, like, and it's only the first few waves. It's supposed to rain through tomorrow. We've got flash flood warning until tomorrow at noon. So, yay for that. And it's getting colder. Alright, guys. So, hours later, I've got the eyes painted. I don't know if that's quite even. I'll have to look at it closer, but that's pretty good. And I've got all the parts here that are going to be gunship gray. Oh, that nice dark gray. That should look pretty good. I've got everything else separated over here. That's going to be German gray. I've got all these silver or light gray parts, however it's going to go. Probably silver, if I'm honest. And then the leftover blue bits there that aren't cut out or anything. So I've gotten decently far. By the way, I didn't show it off earlier. This is the sticker sheet. Look at this. Those huge white stickers, those huge red stickers would be a massive, massive pain otherwise. And I don't even know exactly where those go, but I have a feeling I'm going to end up painting those without even realizing it. I do like these Decepticon logos, so I'm definitely saving those for other things like third-party Transformers that don't have it. And I do have all the red stuff up here already ready to go, although I think I'm going to pre-panel line those things and clean them up beforehand. But that's pretty much all I'm really going to get done today with the rain. And it kind of sucks because I would really love to just knock this out. But unlike with Nemesis, where I rushed a little bit, and I had a few small issues, I'm going to let things settle properly before I really mess with them, stuff like that. I really want this thing to come out good, especially because I'm going to have to do a lot of masking for these wings. So tomorrow I might make a trip over to Hobby Lobby and see if I can get some super fine line masking for like the 6 mil stuff like that, because I'm not going to try to trim that down out of my normal blue tape. That's going to be a pain in the butt. And like I said, what I'm going to do with those Decepticon logos, I'm just going to hand paint that very lightly after spraying into a cup like I did with the blue stuff on Nemesis. So we'll pick this up another day. Alright, so it is the next day after an enormous amount of rain last night and this morning. I guess things, I gotta get back to work. Sorry, I had a text message right there. But I did manage to paint some stuff last night. God, my hair is a mess. So I got the red stuff painted fairly well. It took about 4 or 5 coats because that red is actually very much like a clear. So it took a while for it to get smooth because I did sand things in preparation yesterday. Did use a little bit of, what's 600, 800 grit? What is it? 600 grit? Wish it was 800. But either way, that was just to get that. So it took a few coats to actually cover the stuff. Sorry about the laundry. So what I'm about to go do, since it's not really raining, I'm going to go ahead and paint the parts that need to be gunship gray, which is going to require a little bit of masking on this part so I can get those vents done there. Look how shiny. So that'll be nice. Hopefully it doesn't have any problems with coming apart. And one thing I'm going to do, I've decided I am going to go ahead and paint everything gray silver because I want to. And who's going to stop me? I can't hold on to things. But I'm going to have to scuff it up a little bit because it is super smooth. And then I am going to prime everything, which is going to suck. I think I've got 2 small cans of primer because primer doesn't go very far. But I need, if I'm going to be masking it off for a few things, I want to make sure that I'm masking on paint that has been set on primer. So something like that. But that's what I'm going to try to do this afternoon, at least get this stuff in primer form. This has been drying for quite some time. I stopped painting last night, so I've let it sit for a long time. Hopefully I won't have any problems with that. So I want to get all of the gunship gray parts done, and then I will do all the exposed frame parts like that in the German gray, which will be fairly easy. And since I have light to work with, unlike yesterday, it'll make a bit different. So let's get to work. Also, I forgot to add, I went and got some Tamiya 6mm. Luckily, I didn't have to go all the way to Hobbytown. Hobby Lobby does have it. I'll grab 2 rolls just in case. I know I'm not going to need it for this one, but, you know, 6mm is going to be really, really handy for these stripey bits. So, yay for that. At least most of these are, you know, pretty straight angles. Should be pretty easy to mask off. Okay, now I can get to work. Alright, nice and done. This took a couple coats. All the actual gray parts. Took 1 quick coat. That looked very good. Come on. Autofocusing sucks. There we go. There's head and torso. Okay, so I can do some dry assembly with some of the red parts, stuff like that. I think I can get most of these bits all together, like the chest and stuff like that. So that'll be progress. Progress time. Okay, so I've got the feet done because all I needed to do was add just that little gray piece. The head, I just got to paint the face panel, stuff like that, but it came out good. I like the way it looks. These bits look nice. Gotta figure out something to do with that little thruster vent bit. So this is going to be the knees. So I've got to do some sanding. One thing I did, I finished up the forearms at least. So they look pretty good, even without painting the blue. I actually like this blue. I actually sanded down the inside to hopefully not scrape. Working on that. These were nearly impossible to push through. I don't know what's going on with those poly caps. Very, very annoying. I like that he comes with a multitude of hands, which is good. I'll look at that in the review. And I'm working on masking off this little raised bit here on the knee covers. That's going to be about as good as I can get it. So one thing I'll do is do a light sanding, and then prime, and then do all the things for everything that's going to be silver. That's going to take probably the rest of the day, if I do it today, to be totally honest. Because, I mean, this is a ton of stuff. I mean, that's just one wing, you know, and then I've got null rays and legs and all the things that all need to be sanded a little bit because they're perfectly smooth, or at least what surface looks like to be perfectly smooth. And that would be fine, except that's not very grippy. So I need to make sure that it has just a little bit of grip. Maybe I won't hit it with the sandpaper like I did the other thing, because the sandpaper left scuff marks even through the paint. So, I mean, I know the primer will help with that, but, you know, I'll figure it out. I can do that. Hopefully, like, at least for now, that's the most amount of masking I'm going to have to do to get that to be silver. But I could get to the almost to the point where I can assemble something important here. That's kind of the problem. But battery's running low. Took forever, but I finally got all the pieces sanded down and ready to go. That's a whole lot of stuff that's got to be painted silver. I'm glad I got 2 cans. And the good thing is, silver coats fairly easily. Day 3. So I just got home from shopping, amongst other things, so I wanted to show off some of the paintwork here. That primer came out really nice. I almost want to just leave it. No, that's not true. I'm gonna paint it all silver. Somebody's gonna be pissy about that. But as I just showed off in the kitchen with Shoky video, I had to get some paint. So I got some more Italian red, because I figure I'm going to run out before I get these stripes done, and considering the amount of coats it takes, being a very thin paint, I figure that's going to be necessary. And because I decided I needed to paint more things, I grabbed the blue that's very, very close to that Starscream blue. I dig this, and it is a French blue. So TS10, for anybody who is looking to replicate that. I think that's going to be almost a dead-on color match. But let's go look. Yeah, just like I thought, pretty much a dead-on color match, except now I'm going to have to take things apart because I forgot about the feet needing paint. But the arms and stuff like that, and the hands, I can paint those as necessary. I just split them apart, pull out the other painted bits, which came out very nice. So, yay for extra projects. Also, I finally opened up this guy, and sadly, this is a complete aside here, away from this project. He came with 2 left knee guards. So this one is forever jacked up. Now, they can be removed. I've already got a hold of TF Source. I don't know how... apparently they have an exchange program for damaged or whatever toys. I don't know how that's going to work for such a limited figure. We'll see what happens. I'm waiting to hear back from them. But in the meantime, I have painting to do. Alright guys, so silver stuff is done. So we got the legs, the guns, all the other different parts, so I can start assembling things. I left these on clips because I need to paint those vents. And everything else is pretty much ready to go. The wings are still over there. I'm going to let them dry for, I don't know, a couple hours at least before I start masking off to do the rest of the taping. But that's how that's going. I do have the blue stuff ready to go here. While I'm kind of playing around with this, I'll go ahead and spray paint that. So time to start making stuff come together. Just a minor update. Got a little like Johnny 5 action here. That's funny. Without the rest of it, it just looks hilarious. But coming up pretty nice so far. Progress. I have one problem though. The kneecaps. I'm gonna paint those. I can't paint these now. Well, I guess I could. I just have to take them back off and do a lot of creative masking. But I think I'm just gonna leave them. They're not really gonna be that noticeable, I don't think, in comparison. But I'm about to go start on those. So yay. And I need to get the chest parts here back together. But so far, looking pretty good. Now this is, of course, with the painted eyes that I did. This one is the alternate face. I'm digging the silver. though the eyeballs I put in aren't 100%. I don't know what's going on there. And you can see a little bit of smudginess on the face, but that's okay. I can weather that out. What's up, guys? So it's many days later, and because I was home with the wife for the last couple of days, I did not film just for her sake, but there's been much progress. Now, while he looks done, you'll notice stripes are missing from the wings. So that's what I'm about to do, is mask off for the white stripes, and then I'll be done with the overall painting, but then I need to do like a kind of a dry brushing run on the Decepticon logos, and then some of these little details here on the wings, or not the wings, the guns, null rays. One thing that's awesome, the blue paint that I chose at Hobbytown, which is a French blue, you guys can see this. So the only thing I have not painted are those kneecaps. So those kneecaps are the same blue plastic. Look at it compared to the painted rest of it. That is almost a dead match. That's awesome. So I've had some problems already that I'll bring up in the review. Have to do with some of the construction problems. I'm just realizing I got my glasses on, so I'm gonna get reflections. Some of the construction ideas that they had do not work when you have to take things apart. They will fall apart just from normal use. Kind of similarly to the way we had problems with Optimus originally. But I'm gonna get to work on these wings. Just listen to some everything great about videos. I'm just really, every time I put masking on, I get so freaking nervous, because now I'm masking over a painted surface. The silver came out okay, but now I have to mask over the red. Scary. But we'll see what happens. I'll do what I have to do. Like you can see right here, I was trying to do some touch-up with the red last night, and it didn't quite come out as good as I needed it to, but I can always do a little bit more, so progress. Okay, that took a lot of masking, but I'm gonna do that. Now, if you see the red kind of exposed there, that's in the channel. I'm just gonna hope that the white can cover it, or I'm gonna have to do some cleanup later. Either way, I don't know if I'm gonna spray this tonight or not. I kind of want to, just to get it done, but I don't know. We'll see. I've still got plenty of time. Alright, so progress update. I've got the purple painted on the Decepticon logos, which is really hard to do, but as you guys know, just that. Using super tiny little brush. I was going to try to dry brush it, and it really wasn't going to work, at least not with what I had. Also, purple on the guns. Looks really good. You know, little flaws here and there, little overspray, stuff like that. But that's what weathering is going to be for, though. It's going to be hard to weather this guy. He looks so damn sexy. I mean, look at that. I dare say I did better on him than I did on the 2 primes. I don't know. I do think he's going to need some weathering, though. But I don't think I will go super heavy, because I just like it better. I'm thinking the turbines for sure. Stuff back there. A few dings on the head. I want to add like a couple brown spots if I can. Stuff like that. But he's a much brighter character. So I don't know what I want to do. But for now, paint drying. That's where the video ends, guys. If you want to be able to see the rest of it, make sure you check out the actual review. If you somehow actually got here without seeing the review, it'll be linked right here above you in the annotations. Also, if you somehow didn't see the previous Nemesis Prime or Optimus Prime videos, you can check those out as well, along with the build log for Nemesis. So make sure you click on those things, and I will catch you guys on the next build.